Hello everybody, it's me, Riffraff Hornhelm, and I'm back again with another presentation from the Dwarven Vault, and today we have a monster review for you. Today we're going to take another look at a creature from the original monster manual as used with basic Dungeons & Dragons and Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, or what's typically known today as 1E. And the creature we're going to look at today is the RAKSHASA. Pretty cool creature, right? I mean, it really comes from Indian lore, and it is a fascinating creature, and one that they kind of modified to make it work specifically for Dungeons & Dragons. Now, these are lawful evil creatures. They're 7 hit dice. They have a -4 armor class. Pretty wicked right there. Of course, they're very rare. You don't see them often. If you do, as a wandering, there can be 1 to 4, though if there's more than one, the others will be female Rakshasas that are part of the harem, if you will, for the main dude. Now, these creatures operate a very specific way. They use ESP, but they're not psionic. But it's also not exactly a spell. It's created kind of specifically for use with this creature. Using that ESP, they will look into the minds of creatures that they're dealing with and use the information in there to create illusions. And those illusions are used to entrap their victims because their favorite food is human flesh. Pretty nasty creatures. Now, they're also difficult creatures to work with because in addition to those powers, they can potentially have up to 3rd level magic user spells and 1st level cleric spells. Gives it a little bit extra punch. And they're super difficult to hit. You need a +1 weapon to hit them, but up to a +3 weapon, it still only does 50% damage. That's pretty impressive right there, right? And while they do not have magic resistance, they are unaffected by spells up to the 8th level. Wow. Right? Just wow. Now, having said all that, if they are struck by a crossbow bolt blessed by a priest, it'll kill them. Doesn't matter how many hit points. So it's kind of a weird combination of stuff, but it makes for a very interesting character. And of course, as a DM, you're gonna have to be flexible how you deal with this. The way that it's spoken about in the monster manual, it's rather absolute about the ESP. Which, okay, I get that part. But whether or not you see through the illusions, there should always be a chance of you being able to do so. It may be a very low chance, and it's probably based on maybe your intelligence or intelligence and wisdom combined. But there should be a chance. Doesn't speak about that in the rules here, or I should say in the description of the creature. But there definitely should be a chance. Now, once again, with these guys being able to create illusions and draw people in, their definite way of operating is, they're going to use these illusions to lull you into a false sense of security and attack you at your weakest moment. In that sense, they can be very successful. Now, in talking to the greater Hornhelm community about these, I got some pretty strong responses. Talking to dungeon masters, they ranked this as a solid 7. And they said it really came down to the illusion abilities and the fact that many times their victims didn't suspect anything was going on, so they weren't really actively checking to see if there was an illusion, and then it was too late. I think that's a pretty fair assessment. I've certainly had that happen with players in various dungeons in the past. But, yeah, they're a pretty tough character. Now, interestingly enough, in talking to the players out there, they ranked it even higher. Those who had been killed by them thought that they were like an 8. Those that hadn't still put them at about a 7 to 8. And they said that this whole illusion aspect and their ability to pretty much read the mind of their victim to be able to draw the information they needed to paint such an accurate illusion made them very tough to get around. Can't really argue with that. I'd love to tell you that there's some surefire way of getting past one of these creatures, but there really isn't. Because they have such a ironclad ability to be able to lure off characters, you want to be really careful. If there's any hint of these being around, you want to get away from it as best as you possibly can. Remember that even a magic user doesn't necessarily help you very much. And even, a +3 sword is still only doing half damage. The recommendation here is that if you know that there's one around, is go a different way. So that, my friends, is the RAKSHASA. We hope you enjoyed our presentation. If you did, please be so kind as to leave us a like. Consider subscribing if you haven't. Drop us a comment. Share with your friends. But most of all, come back and see us again in the future. We very much appreciate your kind support. Thank you all. Take care, and remember, dwarves rock!